Now, from us in New York, let's bring in Don DeBar, activist and commentator. Good to have you with us, Don. So let's
Thank you.
have your assessment of this situation that's been going on. We have this truce deal and the prisoner swap that's taking place in the third stage, just going on as we speak.
Well, you have to look at the long-term trend of what Israel, quote unquote, has done to try to understand what its real goals are. October 7th, people can argue about what happened all they like. Certainly, whatever did happen on October 7th, the government, the Zionist government, had a game plan ready, at the ready, that was able to take advantage of what it perceived of as a public relations opening to evict the people of Gaza from Gaza and to level it, basically to begin the urban renewal, quote unquote, of Gaza in favor of the Israeli state. That project has been underway. The community, the international community, seeing what has happened, has reacted with outrage. Even those governments that are supporting it have to contend with the populations in their countries that see what's going on and are outraged by it and are looking at their governments as participants in this horror, this Holocaust. That because that word, there's no registered trademark on that word, by the way. Holocaust is a mass, murder or an attempted extermination of a people, and that's exactly what's being done right now in Gaza and in Palestine and West Bank also.
Mm-hmm.
So the tactical moves to respond to international pressure to stop blowing up Gaza gets watered down first to a ceasefire, and then even further attempted by the United States, Britain, and others, to a humanitarian pause. I guess that's so you can reload. But this also is an attempt to reload, and as a matter of fact, we saw violations of the so-called ceasefire even while the regime was
Mm-hmm.
supposedly in place. It's clear, I mean, they're not shy about stating it, that the Tel Aviv government intends to clear Gaza and the West Bank of Palestinians, and then to move on. There is a map for some of the political parties that are part of the governing coalition right now in the
Mm-hmm.
state of Israel, as they call it, to wipe out not just the Palestinians that are in Israel, quote unquote, proper, or former Palestine proper, but also parts of Syria, Sinai. I mean, they want to use Sinai as their personal refugee camp. I thought it belonged to Egypt. I thought that was settled long ago.
Mm-hmm.
And Lebanon and other countries in the environment. And there's some maps that extend all the way to almost to Ukraine from there and into Africa. So they haven't been shy about what their intentions are. And it's obvious what they are. They've stated it again. And consequently, whatever they proclaim they're doing in the midst of this tactical retreat, momentary tactical retreat, clearly it is an attempt to position themselves to continue and to finish the job. We saw this with the Minsk Accords in Ukraine, where
Mm-hmm.
after the accords supposedly collapsed, we found out that the U.S. and the UK and the others admitted publicly that they never intended to fulfill the terms, but rather were looking for a tactical pause so they could rearm and uparm Ukraine. The same thing is going on here.
Mm-hmm. So, Don, as we're speaking, we have these live images from Ofer prison, and the Israeli Prison Service has announced that 39 Palestinians have been released as per the truce deal, or they're going to be released soon. We're waiting for that to happen. We saw those that Hamas actually released through the Rafah crossing. They went to the other side, to the Egypt side. Now, Don, are you saying that this is only a temporary pause, as it is called, mostly in the United States, and that the Israeli hostilities against people in Gaza, especially, will go on as it's going on against people in the West Bank?
Well, I mean, the short version to that question, the short answer is yes. Again, they haven't been shy about it. But use the United States as an analogy. The United States has more people in prison in both absolute terms and per capita than any other country in the world. Than all of the so-called police states that the United States points to. The U.S. has more people in prison as a consequence of police arrests than anywhere else on the planet. Um,
Mm-hmm.
a large part of that is a consequence of the laws that were passed during the 1990s, during Bill Clinton's term, and the bulk of the people imprisoned under that are people of color. And this condition still prevails. There's still hundreds of thousands of people in jail in the United States. And so if some politician, this would be a Democrat that would do this, would come along and pardon 36 people or 48 people or even 177 people, would you then ask somebody, well, has the problem been solved? While another 2 or 3 or 4 or 900,000 people languish in prison, and the prison is still being fed with new recruits, so to speak. It's not even window dressing. Window dressing covers part of the window. This is a sham.
So, do you have any hopes that this truce could be extended further and further so that we could actually have an end to the Israeli aggression against the people in Gaza for now?
The people of the world have to pressure their governments, starting with the people in the vicinity, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, etc., to act to prevent the Israeli military from conducting any further operations against Gaza, West Bank, or anyone else, including Syria, period. Unless and until the Israeli military is constrained by the world from conducting any more military operations, and until Israel is disarmed, frankly, then no, this is going to continue in one form or another until that final day where that's going to have to happen. It's just going to be a matter of how much damage is done to the people around that region, maybe the people of the world, and by the way, the people who live in the state of Israel itself.
Okay, I appreciate the contribution. Don D. Barr, activist and commentator, joining me from Ossining, New York.